Wow, happy Tuesday. Hopefully everyone's having an awesome Tuesday. It's a little bit overcast here in Austin, but that's all right. Traffic wasn't too bad. Got home in 20-ish minutes. But with that being said, we're going to be talking a little policies here. As you may be well known, Trump issued Title 42 in response to the pandemic that happened under his administration, which kind of prohibited people from migrating. But that's coming to an end in a couple of weeks, or about, a couple of weeks. And what is Biden going to be doing? According to FoxNews.com, I know over the Tucker debacle, I probably shouldn't be using them, but I'm still going to be using them. Biden administration approved sending a measly 1,500 U.S. troops to Mexico border as Title 42 deadline looms. Sources. I mean, it's really not a whole lot of troops, to be honest. Biden administration approved sending 1,500 active duty U.S. troops to the southern border in the coming days amid concerns that tens of thousands of migrants, can we just call them illegal immigrants at this point, will surge the country once Title 42 is lifted, sources tell Fox News. U.S. soldiers will come in a variety of active duty units and will serve for 90 days in mostly administrative and transportation roles to free up law enforcement and border patrols, according to two senior U.S. officials familiar with the deliberations. Now, of course, they can't be there in a full capacity because I think there's some statute saying that the United States military cannot be deployed in the United States. I may be wrong there. The 90-day deployment is not inconsistent with the support to the border going back to George W. Bush administration. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby said. The Pentagon said that the Department of Homeland Security requesting the troops, which will arrive early as May 11th, not May 11th, but May 10th, because Title 42 will end on May 11th. Official says the troop deployment will be similar to the deployments to the border ordered by former President Donald Trump. The troops will be armed for self-defense, but would not assist with law enforcement. For 90 days, these 1,500 military personnel will fill critical, capable gaps such as ground-based detention, monitoring, data entry, and warehouse support until the CBP can address those needs through contractual support. Pentagon Press Secretary Brigadier General Pat Ryder said in a statement, military personnel will not be participating in law enforcement activities. The deployment to the border is consistent with the other forms of military support to the Department of Homeland Security over many years. I don't know, how about instituting a policy as remain in Mexico, because that really worked. It really did. Customs and Border Patrol previously warned that migrants that illegally enter the U.S. will result in removal. The Biden administration is encouraging migrants to use the CBP One app to schedule appointments at the point of entry where their asylum claims can be processed. My question is, why can't they stay home and fix their own government? I know that's kind of cold and callous, but at certain points, we can't be draining their resources. It's called a brain drain. And I think if they really wanted the same freedoms and opportunities that America offers, I think they should form their own government that offers the same protections that we do, using us as a blueprint. The reality is the government response to the migrant crisis isn't reflect Biden's administration's official position, while many are returning currently due to the Title 42 order, which allows for the rapid removal of migrants at the border due to an ongoing C-19 pandemic. Not all who enter illegally will return via the order. The CBP statistics show that only about 46% of the migrants encountered at the border resulted in Title 42 expulsion. Meanwhile, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas testified that the Senate lawmakers last month nearly 1.3 million migrants in the fiscal year of 2022 who were processed via Title 8. Only about 360,000 migrants were deported. I'm adding migrants. The White House said Tuesday that the troops to the border would not necessarily be if Congress would act. The White House said Tuesday that their troops to the border would not be necessary if Congress would act. What type of act do you want? I actually want an honest answer to this question. How is our immigration policy broken? Is it due to the fact that we don't enforce our immigration laws? Or is it too strenuous to get here legally? I honestly don't know. As you know, that sounds like the, it is her. As you know, on the first day of walking into the office of the White House of his administration, the president put forth a comprehensive immigration legislation, and so we could have resources and so that we could be able to help men and women of the border to do Border Patrol to do their jobs. See here, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, and also if Congress would act, and again to do their jobs, to meet us halfway, and to do this with bipartisan way, we would not have to do this. What exactly do they want changed? What law do they want changed to allow us to better process these people that are coming here illegally, seeking, well, I mean, I guess they're seeking asylum is not necessarily illegal, but we definitely need to, I guess, redefine what asylum seeker is. Those who aren't deported are placed into immigration removal proceedings and released into the U.S. pending their hearing, which can take years. Immigration and Customs Enforcement data shows deportations have plummeted under President Biden because it's taking years to hear the case, and if you can't hear the case, you can't deport them. In preparation for the end of Title 42, Biden administration have developed a new asylum rule that will bar migrants from being eligible to claim asylum if they cross into the U.S. illegally and have not scheduled an appointment via the CBP One app. Why are you telling these people to use an app? And have not claimed asylum into the country through that they previously passed. I mean, if this is what they're saying and what they want to do, and they actually implement that, then they should just remain in Mexico. They shouldn't be able to pass through the border or even speak to someone without having the proper paperwork. While Mayorkas has stressed that the presumption of ineligibility will be rebutted, and those exemptions made for some people have enraged some Democrats and immigration activists who claim it's similar to the Trump-era transit ban, and that it encroaches on the right to anyone from anywhere in the world to claim asylum at the United States border. My question is, why United States? Why not Mexico? Is Mexico a safe state? Or is it a dangerous state? And if it's a dangerous country or a dangerous state, what can America do on a governmental level to make sure that Mexico is a safe alternative to the United States? Sending troops to the border is likely to anger the left and draw more comparison of a Biden to Trump, mainly because his policies worked. It's expected the migrant surge had prompted the administration to work more closely with Mexican authorities and NGO partners to look for alternative removal authorities under Title 8. Last month, Fox News Digital reported that the administration is preparing to hold a credible fear screening, the first step in claiming asylum for migrants in the CBP facilities. Department of Homeland Security confirmed that the agency is working with legal services providers to provide access to legal services for individuals who receive a credible fear interviews in the CBP custody. You know, people are really good at acting. Let's see here. According to Wait a Minute, one thing that everyone seems to agree upon and where I live, regardless of political affiliation, is that when you pour thousands of new people into a city and build higher density housing or increase density in existing housing, you overburden the infrastructure and the support system, schools, hospitals, etc. Really worked well in Europe. Dense housing means a lot of local amenities, including cheap mass transit. And unlike the U.S., housing is affordable, and these areas are densely populated cities. I don't really have reliable mass transit here in Austin. It may be cheap, but it takes me way too long to get to work and way too home. And then the whole climate change impact, Biden is out of control. And Kurt's got the truth. 17-013-44. Army units will serve mostly administrative roles and transportation roles. Why make a big show of sending 1,500 military troops to do the same job civilians could do? If the troops are not actively engaging and securing the border, then they're nothing more than pre-election attention grab for Biden. It's a misuse of military for personal political gain. I mean, it's definitely political theater showcase. The title of the story should be Biden sending 1,500 bus drivers to spread more illegals to Republican states in the middle of the night. Failing to enforce immigration laws is a violation of the Constitution, dereliction of duty, and must, at a minimum, result for the removal of those who refuse to comply with the law. These are asylum seekers. It's almost if you had an agenda to inspire or in spite of having no clue. I seriously doubt all these people are seeking asylum. They see a good opportunity to go into the United States because they believe the way that we live our life. They believe in the freedoms. They believe in the opportunities that you can come from nothing and make something of yourself. So say goodbye to every member of Congress and the president, because as long as illegals are allowed to enter the country unchecked because of unenforced laws, every single one of them are guilty. Let's see, U.S. soldiers would come with a variety of active duty units and would serve mostly in administrative roles and transportation roles. Why not just send 1,500 Uber drivers down there? Wouldn't it be unlawful to assist people crossing our border when the majority of these people have been assisting the border by criminal gains? Doesn't sound like a valid task for our military. Let's see here. I fear this is more about placing active duty national armed forces who would serve to detour local demonstrations against permitting 400,000 immigrants or indigent immigrants to flood across the border, invade a state, and then make the state responsible for managing the end results of care, housing, education, and employment. Any information will just justify additional deployment to the future, imposing a martial law. Fear, LOL. Definitely a righty. Funny, the New York Mayor Adam is complaining that Texas governor is sending illegals to his and other blue cities. But what Abbott does is just equality, which is taking from those who have more and giving it to those who do not have less. Texas has too many illegals, but New York does not. So Abbott is just doing what the woke has asked everyone to do. I mean, that is interesting. Let's see, we should militarize our border. Many other nations do, and they're not facing the crisis we are. The CVP should have direct access to these military assets and returning us to sovereignty. North Korea and Saudi Arabia come to mind. Let's see here. Mexico's military is full of control of their southern border, but has been for decades. They can just shut it down in a heartbeat when they want to. We should do the same. I mean, this is an interesting argument. And I think if Mexico were to shut down their southern border and not give them access, they wouldn't be on our border. At a certain point, we're going to have to step up and hold these countries accountable for allowing these migrant caravans to get to our border. The question is, what is it going to take? And when are we going to do it? I mean, with that being said, that really is my video. I'm just reading comments for the sake of reading comments at this point. But something needs to be done. I mean, we can't be letting all these people in that are going to flood our cities, because our cities can't handle, in some cases, a new state of population or a population of a state into our country every couple of days or every couple of months. We don't have a limitless resources. I mean, we do have a lot of resources. We do have a lot of food to feed them. But at a certain point, we have to start taking care of our own country, our own citizens, before we could import immigrants. And we should also have a say of who we're letting in. I don't know. It's one of those things that I don't have an answer for, because I haven't really looked into the immigration law. And maybe I should. Maybe I should. But at a certain point, we are a nation that has a border, and we should be able to protect our borders. We should have a say of who comes in, just not willy-nilly. I fear for my life, and I'm able to get into America. At a certain point, that's got to end. With that being said, that is my video for today. Leave a comment down below and what your thoughts are. But most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.